Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning. I don't know. Some of us are connecting from different places. If you want to just, introduce yourself and say where you're connecting from, that would be awesome. I'll be the first to say, hi, I'm Andy and connecting from Argentina. Oh, Tennessee. Hi, Candy Cook. So glad that you guys are connecting today to enjoy this awesome webinar with Hernán. So yeah, we're connecting from Argentina. Oh, so we have quite a bit of people from Latin America. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Virginia, Florida, sunny Florida. I love going. I've gone several times to Florida for Disney because my daughter loves Disney. So Wisconsin, awesome. Yeah. Well, Jesse, the founder of Continue to Give, is actually from Wisconsin. So very cool. He's currently in Africa, so he sends his love, wanted to participate, but he was off doing some missions. So yeah, also Wisconsin, very cool. We have a nice group of Wisconsiners. Yeah, so just regarding like time, we're gonna start, in about 5 minutes. But meanwhile, I'll just present myself and a little bit about Continue to Give. So yeah, my name is Andy. I am the fundraising and nonprofit developer guru of Continue to Give. For those that don't know Continue to Give, we are an awesome online giving software. Continue to Give is an all-in-one solution, and we provide online giving anywhere from QR codes and text to give, roundup giving, which is really cool, where that our software tracks your donor or members' change, and then they can give their change to their organization. Also, we have a giver's app, kiosk, and so much more regarding online giving. We also have a donor management system as well as a fund accounting system. So we're definitely an all-in-one solution. Continue to Give. Last year, we are an award-winning and affordable online giving software company. So not only do we provide an all-in-one solution, but we've also, God's been good, and we have won a lot of awards for it. So yeah, we are ready to serve you if you're not already a client of ours. And not only are we an online giving provider, we try to, provide all tools to be successful, such as these webinars with experts from, Hernán, which super excited to hear from him. I've been to several webinars, and he's amazing. So we've had so many wonderful experts regarding this. So we really try to build you guys up, give you features, and as well as know-how in fundraising. So yeah, all right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and share some polls just to kind of have an idea of where you guys are at on, your digital fundraising, journey. And if you want to just feel free to kind of fill those out, and so that Hernán has an idea of, what, where you guys are at, in that part. And then also I have another, let me just, yeah, all right. So many of you, about 50% for now, is new or starting from scratch. 25% a couple of years of experience. Awesome. Oh, been at it a while. I'm ready to up my game. That's awesome. So, and then some of you are CEOs and marketing specialists, as well as others, director of programs. Awesome. I think we have a really cool mix. So yeah, well, so I think the moment you guys have been waiting for, and I'm just gonna, present Hernán. Hernán works as a consultant in communications, marketing, digital transformation, innovation, and fundraising. He is the co-founder of Latte Creative in Latin America, was the director of communication and public mobilization of Greenpeace Andino, which is Argentina, Chile, and Colombia. He is also one of the founders of Greenpeace Colombia, and he is also a leader of the global online campaign Save the Arctic that promoted a movement of defense of this key region for the planet, to which more than 8 million people from all over the world already joined. He has advised organizations in more than 20 countries, including Fundación Huésped, Sales Foundation, Save the Children, Greenpeace, Oxfam, Tetzaka Foundation, and many others. He also teaches at the University of St. Andrews and as well as Miami Ad School. So we're so happy that you're here to join us, Hernán.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and invited, and also just looking all the answers in the poll. So it's very interesting audience with different kind of experience and background. So I think it will be interesting to talk with you. And if you want to add anything and you want to comment anything during the presentation, you can do it in the chat or ask Andrea to stop me and I can answer questions. I have a presentation that is longer than the webinar that we are going to have, but then the presentation will be shared with you, so you can have all the details there to contact me, and also to check all the things that we won't be able to discuss today. So, well, there was the presentation, and that was already done. We work with in Latte Creative with several NGOs and agencies from different parts of the world, a lot of them in Europe and in Latin America, and some of them are doing global campaigns. And today we are going to talk about direct marketing, how to start working with your digital communication, engagement, and fundraising program. The most important thing when we want to start is to have in mind that the key issue is always the strategy. The people that work with digital tools, we usually love the tools and we want to use all the tools together. And also when we have internal clients or external clients, the people came with this: I want to have this social network, I want to do this, I want to have 1 million followers, but they are in some cases not paying attention what they really want to achieve. In some cases, donors, awareness, or different type of objectives. So the first thing is to put focus on the objectives that we want to achieve, and to design the strategy, and then select the tools. Not all the tools are needed for all the objectives. In some cases, some could be something that will backfire your strategy. So first you need to decide which are these objectives. So you need to think and discuss internally these objectives, and they have to be concrete, they have to be realistic. You have to be ambitious, but you have to be realistic too, because if you have objectives that are too difficult to achieve, then you will feel that you are failing in your strategy, and this could be bad not only for you, but of the perception of your work inside the organization. So it's better. I'm not saying that we put low objectives. So be ambitious, but realistic with the resources that you have in terms of human resources and also in terms of financial resources. Then you have to select, when you are going to work digitally, what type of objectives. Some objectives are focused on conversion. So conversions into, for instance, lead conversion. So you are doing a strategy that the focus should be lead generation. In some cases, strategies that will go directly to convert those people into donors through a platform like Connect to Give. Other objectives are related with interactions. You want the people to do certain stuff that you propose them for your campaign, for your project, for your institutional objectives. So you need to put the focus there. In some cases, you do some strategy that have the objectives of savings. Like, for instance, when a bank push you to use mobile banking instead of going in presence to a bank office, they are not paying so much attention of what you need, but what they need. Because, for instance, an operation, a transaction that you do on mobile maybe is $0.10. If you go to the office, it will be like $2 or $3 per transaction. So what they are trying to do using digital strategies to have savings on their strategies. And some objectives that you will have online will be for awareness, for branding. So, and it is very important to be blunt when you work with your organization in your strategy, because in some cases, for instance, you could generate a lot of conversion, but then you will have internal comment, bad comment saying, but nobody has seen this video. I said, I doesn't care, because we have like the conversion rate that we are aiming for this donation form, for instance. And maybe your objective is to have 100 monthly donors, and you get it, but if you don't explain the strategy to your people, it could be seen as a failure strategy. And this is for everything that you work in communication, engagement, and fundraising. Then, I don't know why this was in Spanish. Sorry. The key indicators that you need to have, sorry, this is in Spanish, it has to be measurable. So you need to be very clear with, and you have to have smart indicators. So you have to be you have to work with your team to be clear in which are the objectives that you will prioritize, and then to see if you are reaching or not those objectives, and not the objectives that others are talking about you. And for instance, what is related with impressions, people that are saying, I'm feeling this is not working. That is very common in organizations, especially in advocacy organizations, where say, I feel this campaign is not working. I feel this is not generating the political impact that I'm looking for. So this is very, very important. So smart objectives. And our mantra is always related with the return of investment. This is what is going to make us decide what we do or not, how we measure our strategy, and what is the result in terms of return of investment. And of course, that if you are working strictly on fundraising, the return of investment will be income. But when you do online communication or online advocacy, the return of investment could be something else, like, for instance, signatures to a petition, or volunteers that register to take part in an action, or in an event. So the return of investment should be calculated for each of the strategy, like I was saying, conversions, awareness, and this is what will help you to take decisions. Because if you don't have clearness of what is the return of investment that you are looking for, it will generate these internal problems. And I'm mentioning this a lot because it's the same problem that the people working in these topics has when they are working in an organization, but also from outside, in an agency. And also, if you hire an agency, it's also important to make this kind of agreements to know where is the priority.
I know, because just to interject that, so many times people say, oh, I feel like this is not working. But if then you go back and see the ROI, you really do measurable. Things are so important. At times, it's not about feeling, it's a concrete, measurable things. Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you. And another important thing is to know who are you talking to, and the digital tools give us the possibility to learn a lot about our audiences. Of course, that we can analyze the donor database that we have to know which are the people that is interested in our cause, the volunteers database, the people, our follower database, and also the target audience that we want to gather for our initiatives. In some cases, for making them become subscribers, in others to make them become donors, in others because we want to convince them of our political position or our cause. So it's very, very important to pay attention to what they are saying and how they are behaving. Of course, that if you have more resources, you have more possibilities to do in-depth research. But even if you don't have many resources, you have internet. And what is happening on social media, it's a great tool to understand your audiences. Every social network is a kind of focus group for free. If you pay attention, it's a focus group for free. Of course, there are some social networks that are more open, some others are more closed, but it's very interesting to see how the people talks about your cause, your organization, how they talk about the problems that you are targeting, the things that you are trying to solve, how they perceive this kind of problems. And you can do it with different level of resources. And as I was saying, even if you don't have many resources, you can do it just reading on social media. That is very, very important to understand. Reading how they,
no, just out of a question, would you recommend doing surveys or, to find out more in depth about your donors? Like what is your perspective on that?
Yes, surveys are useful, but there is some tricky in some way, because people are also always answering what they are expect from the organization to respond. So for instance, if you want to have something, and I have done this kind of test, like for instance, asking people about, for instance, recycling or climate change on behalf of Greenpeace, on behalf of WWF, or asking as like a white brand created by us called, I don't know, like Green, and the answers are different, because in some ways they answer what they are expected to answer. So it's useful in some ways, but also it's important what they do. Like for instance, how they react to the special appeals. How do they react to your proposal for donation? So when you see the behavioral of your database, it's also very useful. That's why also the work of data mining, working with the CRM that you have, and checking how they behave in the past, what type of niche do you have inside your database, is very useful. And there are tools that also help you to do that. Like for instance, on Facebook, you can create a database, you can upload your donors database, and you can create a database that has the same behavior that the people that in your original database has, with these lookalikes offers they have. And there are different tools, but it's first you can have your first strategy with the information that you have, that is your donor database or your followers database or your email database. And then you have to think if that contract that you establish with your subscribers, with your followers, matches the values that they have. Because it's one of the biggest mistakes that the organization had, is they try to change values of the audience. It's very difficult to change the values of the people. What you can do is to understand the values that they have and see how you can work together with them to solve the problem that you are trying to solve. For instance, if you want to work, I don't know, climate change, we have done some research, for instance, how to work climate change topics with people that are related to religious groups, for instance, US, or for instance, how to convince people that are part of the National Rifle Association to be interested in climate change, or people that are, and there are different ways to talk with them because they have different values, but probably you can convince all of them that working against climate change is worthy. So, and there is one question there.
Oh yeah. So it says, would you, from John, would you immediately go for the opt-in, meaning the first name and email address?
Yes, that is very, very important. But as Sean said, it was like the starting point, because it will depend what kind of strategies are you going to do later. And of course, that as much information are you asking to the person, the less the conversion that you will have. So, but probably if you're investing like a database for lead generation, and then you will do, for instance, lead conversion by telemarketing, probably you will decide to pay more in terms of generating that database with telephone numbers, because you have like the main strategy will be to call them later. In some countries, for instance, you will ask for the postal address because the direct mail is working. It's not working in all the countries around the world, but in some countries you can do millions of dollars just with, like, for instance, in Germany, we have done one campaign in the Netherlands, and it was very useful. And for instance, if you want to try that in Latin America, it won't work. So it will depend of this type of where you doing your campaign and the values of your audience. Like, for instance, what type of social media they are using. If you want to do a campaign in Russia, you will need to work with Contacte, for instance, instead of Facebook. Even when there were no war and they were working with other social media, and there's always opportunities to do more. But the starting point, yes, will be to have the email, and also in some ways also there is a big opportunity right now with everything related with messenger tools like WhatsApp, depending on the country, WhatsApp, Telegram, even Facebook Messenger, and all the bots that you can build on top of that, because those are also very, very useful. But the email is like the main focus for all your marketing automation, and also to centralize the database that you will have. So it's important to decide why are you going to ask some information, if you are going to use it or not, and then you will decide. Like, for instance, the state. You need the state of the person or not. If you are not going to use it, don't ask it. But you have to think on the middle term or long term if you are going to use it in the future. One important thing is also, the most important thing, is the stories that you propose to the people. So, and when we start talking about numbers, in some ways we could forget that behind these numbers there are real people. So we need to connect with people, and their direct marketing rules are always the same. So it's one person talking to other person. It's not organization talking to general public. It's one person talking to the other. So we need to put the focus on people and to understand how this person needs to be helped by and informed by our organization. And we need to do that, to put the focus on the emotional connection. It's not about data. You won't convince the people to do what you want with data. This is another mistake. We are humans, and we are not rational beings. We think we are rational, but we are not. We are emotional. So first we decide, and then we find a rational decision to approve why we have chosen to do something. And this is for everything. And that's why we need to create these stories that can connect emotionally with what we want them to do. That will be donate, as I was saying, not only donation, because in the range of things that the people can do, there will be different things, and not all the people will want to help you in the same way, and we need to provide them the possibility to help in the way they want or they can. And that's why, for example, when we were doing the Save the Arctic campaign, there were millions of people participating from New Zealand, Russia, or Mexico, or Argentina. There was no other place more far away from the Arctic than Argentina, and there were like 1 million people from here. And because there was one emotional connection between the pristine Arctic, the polar bears, and what the people was feeling in different parts of the world. In some cases, you try to convince them to participate in a campaign that are completely related to them even in the same neighborhood, and they don't participate because maybe they don't feel a connection and they don't feel it's worthy to participate. The people participate in things when they believe that that participation is producing a change. If you don't convince and you don't explain why the participation is a key factor for success, they won't participate. Nobody wants to give money or give time for nothing. So this is also to reflect when you plan and the communication of a project, to think about the visual identity, to check if the proposal is matching, again, the values and the interests of the people that you want to target, and how to do the fine-tuning to convince them that what you are proposing is worth it for them. And then you have to work in build your online presence or increase your online presence. And for that, you will have a website. So you have to select what is the right tools. I will pass this because it's more about what type of tool you need to have your website. But one important thing are the forms. What type of donation forms, what type of lead generation forms are you going to have? And you have tons of tools, and you have to select the ones that are better for you. In some cases, this is, for instance, for Latin America, very simple forms. And it's better always to start for the things that are working and not for the perfect, because if you want to have the perfect tools, you will never start. It's better to start to, even if you don't have the best conversion, you start and then you start improving. So you have different forms, like the ones that are provided by other tools. You don't need to develop tools, because most of the tools that you will need are already developed. CRM, marketing automation tools, donation forms, everything is there. So it's the most important thing is to focus on your mission, and in your case, the communication and the fundraising of the mission of your organization. So you have to select the right tools and start working, and then doing mistakes and learning from that and improving in the next cycle. So this is very, very important. And there, as I was saying, there's plenty of tools that you can use. Here's another examples of different type of design forms that you need to test, because in some ways you are going to test monthly donations. In other cases, you will test one-shot donations. In most of the countries of the world, the return of investment is much better with a monthly donation. But in different organizations, we have been testing, like, for instance, with online campaigns, like in US, Switzerland, and Brazil, you can have better return of investment with one-time donation. But you have to go for one-time donation with higher average of donation. For instance, in US, everything related with taxes, that is not happening in other countries, but there are opportunities that you can use. But you have to test to see if your organization with your audience is reacting better to monthly donation or one-time donation, or which part of your database is working best with each of the strategies. For instance, and to give you an example, this is one donation form that we made for change.org in Latin America. And working just with the design and the forms, we have duplicated the conversion rate from 0.2 to 0.1. And this change, and you see it's a minimum conversion rate, but when you have millions of people every month in your website, it's a lot of donations, even for Latin America. And this is part of the thing you have to do. Every improvement that you will do in your strategy will increase just a small percentage of your conversion strategy. But every month you have to improve a little bit with different touching points that you will have in the supporter journey of your users. So this is just to pay attention. Then you will work with optimization for engines. And there you will need to think, how will you create the content for your website? So, and then you will have to select the keywords, and then you will see which are more frequent in terms of search, But then the more frequent, you have more competition. So you need to see this balance of unique search, but traffic, and then how relevant is your content for the people that is looking for some issue, because you can go for keywords that are very popular, but then when they go to your website, they see that this is not what they are looking for. And this will go against your strategy, because Google will detect that you are not giving what the user wants. And this is a bad experience for the user, is what social media and search engines doesn't want. So you have to be very precise in what you offer to the people and gives them what they want. There are some tools like Google Search Console that you can try for free and see if your website is doing well or not, and how to then these insights that they can provide. So you have in one, and at a glance you can see which are the insights of your website, and then you can test, for instance, how your site performs on mobile, also with this test from Google, and see if it's working or not. For instance, in this case, I was checking the red website. So it's one of the most important websites in terms of HIV and AIDS campaign, and it's not working well on mobile. Also, the things that you can do on mobiles with, on search engines, but in terms of marketing, some paying for your advertising on search engines, and also the possibility to apply to Google grants. And grants from Google's are offering like $10,000 per month per nonprofit, so you can use in search engines. And this is very useful. You just apply for Google nonprofits, and then you apply for Google grants, and it's a good opportunity. And I see a question. How often does paid media play a role in online events such as Google Ads and Facebook Ads? It's a great question, and it's very it plays a big role, because being relevant online, it takes time. So if you have more money, it's less time. If you have less time, it's more money. For instance, to work in terms of market search engine optimization, it will take a lot of time, because you have to create content. You need to compete with other websites that have the same information. And at a certain point, you will be relevant, but it will take time. But that time, it will provide you a lot of visits that will repeat every month. When you put advertising, you have a lot of visits, but if you cut the advertising, the visit will cut too. And this is the same in social media. It's very difficult to be viral on internet. I will leave you some slides there so you can check about viral marketing, but it's difficult. So it's very tricky to be relevant in the algorithm of social networks. So you will need to establish in the strategy that you do a part of your resources for paid media. And then you will need to check which is more effective for you. If it's Meta, that is Facebook, Instagram, if it's Google Search, if it's Google Display, that is, showing the ads in different websites. If you do remarketing, so for instance, the people that enter in your donation form and doesn't donate, maybe you want to target them again. It's like when you enter in Amazon and you want to buy, a t-shirt, and you don't buy it, and then this ad follows you for all over internet when you are watching something. So you need to have all these tools and test it. And the good thing is you can test with just a couple of bucks. You don't need huge advertising budget. You can try, probably, okay, I will try this week with Facebook ads. In terms of lead generation, I will put $100 and I will see what is the cost per acquisition in terms of lead generation. Or direct donations. Probably I will say that probably I will spend $3,000 in a month, and I get 2 donations. But then I see that is a monthly donation of $100. Okay, it's okay, because a good return of investment. If it's an average of $10, it's not worth it. So, but you need to test it and do it. I will show you a couple of more slides, and then I will answer some questions if you want. I don't know how much time I have.
Maybe just if we can on 5 minutes or so we can open up for questions if anybody has. Yeah.
Cool. And as I was saying, this search engine optimization is very important, but it will take time. I'm here, and how do you create this traffic? Is generating relevant content for the people that is interested in your organization. This case is one example that we did, and we work with Fundación Huésped, is an organization that works with sexual education and sexual advocacy. They work mostly on AIDS. And this information is about how what is AIDS and how do you detect it. So it's a lot of people that is looking for information about health and sexual health. So this only landing page is generating 12% of the traffic of the website. And as they are also focusing on convert those visits into leads, they are generating more or less 4,000 new leads with name, surname, email, and telephone number per month for free. Of course, that is something that has been built, and they work it in terms of these keywords, and also because they are relevant in this country, because people knows that this is serious organization that have been working in the issue for more than 40 years since the AIDS started in globally. So they are relevant, they know what they are talking, the people trust in them, and they have the information. So this is something that it's very important in terms of the communication and also the fundraising strategy. Does Facebook have a feature that can use retarget data from Google Ads? No, it's not direct, but you can have, there's tools that you can centralize your information, so you can use the information that you generate in one strategy to target the other. The same with exclusion. You can exclude database, for instance, the existing donors or lapsed donors or existing leads, so you can offer them different proposals depending in which part of your database strategy they are. This in the last year, we have been seeing a drop in the road with paid advertising in Meta. Yeah, yes, the issue with Apple was hit hard, and also they are also reducing. Meta is also reducing the possibilities of segmentation. So some of the segmentation they were offering, they are not longer on the platform. So, like for instance, things related with religious and political point of view. There are also some restrictions in terms of when you do social and political ads. So there are more control, especially in Europe and North America. But still, in most of the organizations that we are working, Meta is generating the best return of investment. But the Apple issue was hitting hard. We are attempting to reach beyond our current donor. We are looking to find. Okay. Yes. One. I'm reading the question about the organization working with children in IT. It's very important to what we were discussing before. First, to understand that audience that you want to target and what are the consumptions and the behavioral they have. For instance, in some cases, we have been seeing, like in most of the countries, younger people they have a trend to not give monthly, not regular giving. They are more interested in one-time donations. So like crowdfunding campaigns are interesting for them, but when they are asking to support the organization, they lose the interest. For instance, you have to test, in that case, for that type of audience, to create more proposals of one-time donation. Like for instance, we were testing, like, okay, we are going to have like water devices for indigenous people in north part of Argentina. Instead of supporting an organization that helps indigenous people and small farmers in the north part of Argentina, we were talking about we are going to build 20 water devices. And there was a story about that, and the people, we target those type of people for reaching that objective. So 20,000 euros, and that's it. When we reach that target, we go with a new story. But for other type of audience, we were asking for monthly donations, because we know they were doing this type of regular giving that probably in Argentina, in this case, it was like $10 per month. And the other were donating, in some cases less, $3 or $4, but there were a lot of young people doing that. And probably the following month, they were not giving to anyone or to something completely different. They were, I don't know, like giving money to a guy to draw a manga. But this is very important to understand which are the consumptions and the interest of these different audiences. But it's a work you have to do to analyze that and then test it, because in some cases you have an hypothesis and it's not working, so you need to try something else. How you say in English, not to slap the dead horse, because it's whip the dead horse.
The dead horse, I think. Yeah.
So because sometimes we fell in love with our strategies, and we need to detect when our strategies are not working, and we need to fail quickly. The most important thing in this thing of testing is to fail quickly. It doesn't matter if we need to fail a lot, but we do need to do it quickly and cheap. And the digital tools are good because we can detect the mistake, or not the mistake, but the things that are not working very quickly and very cheap. Thank you, Candy. Related small, has market advice. Yes. Well, there are a lot of information about audiences. There, like for instance, Hootsuite has this tool of how we are on social or something like that. Every year they publish, for instance, how are the behaviors on social networks globally per country, and there is a lot. And in terms of the biggest tools like Google and Facebook, they have like online academies where you can go and learn how to use all the tools and also the trends. Like for instance, right now, like Instagram is very popular and they are promoting Reels and you can use that because they want to compete with TikTok, and TikTok is growing a lot. So how much interest is for your organization to work with TikTok? It will depend what are your strategy. For instance, if you have seen like what the teenagers has done in the Trump convention, make them organize and make a huge activism action through TikTok, organized by teenagers. It was marvelous in terms of activism. It doesn't matter what you think of Trump, but in terms of the clever use of a tool, is because they saw an opportunity there and they did it. Next time it will be more difficult because they will be aware, and this is what is happening with digital tools. There is always an opportunity to be first in terms of using the tool in a way that was not supposed to be used, and it's help for everything, for awareness, for fundraising, for communication, for everything. It's very important to put the focus there and to try not to be afraid of failing, because we are failing all the time, and this is the key. Most of the things that we do online, we fail, but then you will have one that is working, so you can increase your budget, you can increase your efforts on that thing that has worked, and then you compete with yourself because you compete testing. Like for instance, with the donation form, you have one donation form that is working best, and then you have even you have the one that is working better, you create others to keep testing if you can improve that. About
just to kind
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't know. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Sorry, Sean, I don't know. about what are you asking?
Just out of time more than anything, I think if we can conclude and then Hernán has kind of a giveaway that he wants to share with you guys, which I think is really, I think it would be useful.
Yeah, I will go.
That has questions
to the end.
and such.
I will. There is a lot of information in the presentation that you can check, and then if you have any doubts, you can contact.
Oh, I think we lost you, Hernán. Yeah, there we are.
Can you hear me right now? Okay. I don't know if it's a way to go to the end. No, I think I had to go one by one. If you want to ask something in the middle, I'm moving.
Well, and I do want to say that those that are participating in this webinar, I'm going to be sending this. Hernán is going to share his slides, and like he said, like eventually, if you have any questions, you can surely reach out to him. And yeah.
I don't know. It's. I think it's in a loop. Okay, this is moving. Sharon, with the conclusions. Yes. Someone. Thank you, Rachel. I'm trying to.
Oh yeah.
I think my finger is quicker than the tool. It's going to the end. Those are different examples of landing pages, how to increase conversion, how to increase participation in advocacy campaigns, how to use social networks in the best way, like using the content generated by users, and some examples of different platforms that. But there, I was saying the tools are not the main issue, but the strategy. Conclusion, yes, yeah, I reached it. So one is focus on planning and define which are the objectives that you want to achieve, and be very blunt with the team. Then how you monitor the result from your indicators, and how you work till the return of investment that you are looking for. The focus on stories, trying to build stories that connect emotionally with your audience. Then all this discussion about audiences that we had, and this is important for your strategy. One key issue, the first fundraising congress that I went, there was I didn't know anything about fundraising, but there was a British guy that shows there in a slide with a survey to people asking why they were not donating to any NGO. And 95% of the people said that nobody has asked them. And it was shocking for me. And from that day, I say, I will ask, and I will ask, and I will ask every time I can. And this is one of the most important things. We need to be aggressive in terms of asking in our digital campaign, because people need repetition and they don't pay much attention online. So you need to keep asking, and asking in different ways. And of course, to put the focus on the return of investment, that is our vision. We need to be very focused on that, and not go into to other things that can confuse us and confuse our directors. Thank you very much. There is also my contact there, and we were discussing with Andrea that for all the people that participated here, we can arrange a special and free call to discuss some of these topics with you.
Sorry.
If you want, I will also give my other email, the working email.
Yeah.
No, don't. It's just I use both, but this will be. So you can, if you want, you can contact me and we can arrange a call to discuss some of this point of some of the questions that you have for your strategy for your organization. And thank you very much for the attention.
Awesome.
And
no, it's amazing.
Listening to me,
I feel
even
like
I'm not
all the
native,
information, every
I will.
webinar that I've being a part of, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I want to. This is so much information, but like you said, just contact Hernán, and he has so much knowledge, and I think just very generous. And I thank you so much for being a part of this webinar and leading this. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for the invitation again. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
To give and thank you all.
God bless. Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful that you could be a part of this. And yeah, all right. Have a great week and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.